What was it peaceful? Was what happened at the end of the concert with Jasmine and Mendeecees and Andy.
I heard about it after. That's why I seen a little tension coming in.
I didn't mention that to you. Yeah, I told her. Okay, here, let me stop everything here.
He never told you that we almost got into a whole physical altercation?
No.
I'm sorry I wanted to, but that was going to be shaky ground for me. I didn't say about it because we was just communicating again.
Girl,
But-
let me tell you something, because I came here feeling away. You see how Bailey, I gave you a real half-ass hug. Don't be half-hugging me and I don't know.
While the crowd eagerly awaited the colorful and vibrant reggae singer's latest hits, she was backstage getting ready for her performance at a charity event on a typical Atlanta afternoon when the air was thick with anticipation for the night ahead. Spice's thoughts were focused on something else, namely her two best friends, Kay Frost and Mess Harris. Spice wasn't one to shy away from drama, but she also knew when something needed to be addressed. Kirk and Mies were both well-known figures in Atlanta's music scene, and although they had always been close, Spice had been noticing a change between them for weeks now. Their informal friendship was starting to feel strained, as if something was being kept unsaid. There was something more serious going on between them. They had stopped hanging out as much as they used to, and whenever they saw each other, their interactions were icy and aloof. Their mutual friends had been chatting about it for weeks, but no one seemed brave enough to confront them about it. Spice, on the other hand, was an action-oriented woman who couldn't accept it. The event was humming with excitement as Spice took the stage, commanding the attention of everyone in the room as the crowd roared. She had decided to expose the true tension and force both men to face it head-on after witnessing her two friends at odds, especially since she knew they had too much history together to let anything tear them apart. Spice started her performance with great energy, her voice resonating throughout the venue. However, after a few songs, she stopped and looked around the audience, focusing on Kirk and me, who were seated at opposite ends of the room. She could tell they were aware of her presence, and that was exactly what she wanted. She then grabbed the microphone and spoke to the audience once more. "Something happened between my two brothers, and I think it's time we talk about it," she stated in a kind yet mischievous tone. The crowd fell silent as they sensed the tension. Spice wasn't known for her subtlety, but today her audacity seemed to take on a new level. "Kirk and Mies, I see you both, and I know something's amiss, so we're going to clear the air tonight." Unsure looks, but they both got up and started walking toward the stage. As they got closer, there was an awkward silence between them, a sort of unspoken distance that only Spice seemed to notice. "I'm sick of acting like we're all right when we're obviously not." Turning to Kirk first, Spice asked, "What's going on, Kirk? You've been aloof lately, and I know you're not a stranger to drama. But this feels different." With a look of confusion and frustration in his eyes, Kirk says, "I don't know what to tell you, Spice. It's just that Mendeecees has been acting strangely lately, as if he has something to prove or something. We've known each other for a long time, but lately it feels like he's been making fun of me every chance he gets. Up until now, the months have been quiet." Calmly but firmly replied, "It's not about throwing shade, Kirk. It's about respect. I've been going about my own business, building my own empire, and it feels like you've been acting like I owe you something just because of the past. I'm not trying to compete with you, but I'm not one to let you treat me like I'm beneath you either." The audience uncomfortably shifted as they sensed the rawness of the response. Discussion __ stood between them. "This is what I'm talking about," she said, her arms crossed, her eyes darting between the two men. Her voice softened as she said, "You two have a history, and I get that, but it's not about who's done more or who's been through more. It's about respect, and right now neither of you is giving that to each other." As if something had finally clicked in his head, Kirk's expression softened. "I understand that perhaps lately I've been too preoccupied with myself and have felt left out, as if people have forgotten what I've done for this city. But that doesn't mean I should treat you like you're not doing your part either. I see you, Mendeecees. I admire the way you've transformed M's look from one of toughness to vulnerability. I've been grinding, Kirk." The two men looked at each other not as rivals, but as two people who had simply lost their way in the middle of their own struggles. It's not that I don't respect you. I do, but I have my own family to support, and I can't always be there for you the way I used to be. That doesn't mean I'm abandoning you. It just means I'm concentrating on my own path now. Their conflict arose from ego, misunderstanding, and the weight of their own obligations rather than from malice. She added in a soft voice, "You two have accomplished amazing things, but sometimes you forget that it's not about one person carrying the weight." Spice grinned, happy to see them finally talking honestly, saying, "This is what I needed to hear. Instead of pulling one another down, it's about uplifting one another." Kirk turned to see M holding out his hand. After a little pause, I firmly shook Kirk's hand and said, "I'm sorry, bro. I didn't mean to make you feel like you owed me anything. Let's move on together. Everything is ok, sir." This Spice's heart light stepped back, and she accomplished her goal of bringing two buddies back. Together, the audience applauded, sensing the resolution, and the evening continued with the renewed sense of solidarity for Kirk and M. It marked a new chapter in their friendship, one based on mutual respect, understanding, and the readiness to let go of the past. For Spice, it was another instance of knowing when to intervene, reminding them of their value and demonstrating that sometimes the most powerful. Talking it out is one thing you can do.
Wasn't peaceful, was what happened at the end of the concert with Jasmine and Mendeecees and Yandy.
I heard about it after. That's why I seen a little tension coming in.
I didn't mention that. Yeah, I told her. Okay, here, let me stop everything here.
He never told you that we almost got into a whole physical altercation?
No.
I'm sorry I wanted to, but that was going to be shaky ground for me. I didn't say about it because we was just communicating again.
Girl, let me tell you something, because I came here feeling away. You see how Billy, I gave you a real half-ass hug. Don't be half-hugging me and I...
The vibrant and vivacious reggae singer was backstage getting ready for her performance at a nightclub on a normal Atlanta afternoon when the atmosphere was heavy with excitement for the evening. A charitable event, although the audience was excited to hear her most recent successes, Spice's thoughts were focused on something else. She had been observing a change between her best friends Kirk Frost and Miss Harris for weeks. Spice wasn't one to shy away from conflict, but she also recognized when something needed to be addressed, and both Kirk and Mendeecees were well-known people in Atlanta's music scene, and although they had always been close, Spice sensed that something more profound was happening between them because they no longer hung out every time they saw one another. Both of their mutual acquaintances had been muttering about the tension between them for weeks, but no one felt brave enough to call them out on it. Their interactions were icy, almost remote. Was an active woman who found it intolerable to witness her two friends fighting as